Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. So, okay, today we are going to share Dhamma on Suttanta Dhamma application. I'm quite sure many of our audience are quite familiar with especially the English-speaking audience, are quite familiar with many of the teachings, especially the suttas of the Buddha. So, and for those who have got the notice and attend today's talk, I suppose everyone has taken the notice and have gone through the Sutta, Dhammacakkappavattanasuttaṁ, the discourse on turning the Dhamma Wheel, and at least have gone through it once. So tonight, for tonight's purpose, I wouldn't go through it in details, just pinpoint certain key things in the suttas, which it is useful for our application, our real life application. Okay. So this is the first suttas taught by the Buddha after he got enlightened. The first sutta directed towards the first group of 5 monks. So this is the first sutta, Dhammacakkappavattanasuttaṁ. This is the first sutta expounded by our Lord Buddha after he achieved enlightenment. So then the Buddha decided to preach the Dhamma to the group of 5 monks. These are the monks who accompany him during his ascetic practice until when the Buddha tried to take food in order, when he contemplated, he need the food to the strength, the physical strength to strive. Then these 5 monks left him thinking that he indulged in pleasures. He says, revert to indulgence, worldly indulgence. So later, our Prince Siddhartha became the Buddha, and he thought these 5 monks, their mind were pure. So he walked towards them and tried to preach to them the teaching. So first, when he met them, he says, monks, there are these two extremes that should not be indulged in by one gone forth, by a monastic, ascetic. What two? The one which is low, vulgar, worldly, ignoble, not connected with the goal and associated with desire and pleasures in sensuality. And that which is painful, ignoble, not connected with the goal and associated with self-mortification. That means, Yojaya kamesu, kama sukhalikanu yogo, hino gamo putu janiko anaryo anatta sanghito. Avoid the sensual pleasure indulgence and avoid self-mortification. Anatta, chaya atta kilamatanu yogo. Avoid this because they are no good. Then the very important idea, the teaching expounded in the first sentence already come to this majjhimā paṭipadā, the middle way, the middle way of practice. Avoiding, it doesn't mean, some people misunderstand middle way. They believe middle way means something half effort. Don't strive so hard. No, it doesn't mean like that. You can strive very hard, provided you don't fall into any imbalance. So this is a very important idea. Don't fall into any imbalance. You can strive very hard, but in a balanced way. Majjhimā paṭipadā, in a balanced way, without going into any imbalance or any extreme. So in this case, the extreme quoted by the Buddha is actually the sensual indulgence and self-mortification. I should avoid this. So this is an important concept, no? Majjhimā paṭipadā. At one time, I was also very struggling. When I was young as a monk, I strived very hard. And then when I left my teacher, one of my teachers, Arya Dhamma Mahathera, and I asked for his advice, he just gave me this Majjhimā paṭipadā. He reminded me to walk the middle way. Don't go into any extreme. Then it helped. Very helpful advice. So sometimes, but modern days, we do find people over strive, not strive too hard. More often than not, there are people who don't strive so hard, indulge in sensual pleasures. So anyway, this idea is important. This is the first thing, very useful for us. Keep it in mind. We will find it useful later. Then what are these middle way? The Buddha say, this middle way is Sammaditi, Samma Sankappo, Samma Vaja, Samma Kammanto, Samma Ajivo, Samma Vayamo, Samma Sati, Samma Samadhi. This is Aryo Atangiko Maggo. Noble Eightfold Path. That is right view, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. So here, this is the first time we are told about Noble Eightfold Path. And this is the first time when the Buddha, after the Buddha got enlightened, he taught Noble Eightfold Path, and which comprises the three training. The right view and right thought is the training of understanding, training of wisdom. Right speech, right action, and right livelihood is the training of conduct, morality, virtue. And right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. This is a training of concentration. Three training. Virtues, concentration, and wisdom. And some people think, it seems the wisdom comes first. Yes, in this sense, the first understanding comes, and then the morality and concentration. In fact, these three things, they work in a circle. Some people say, my training, I don't go by virtue first. I practice wisdom first. Some people have this confusion. Which comes first? Virtue comes first, or concentration comes first, or wisdom comes first? And some people insist wisdom comes first by quoting this. But the general understanding is that virtue, concentration, and understanding and wisdom. And some people, they do not. They get into confusion. And here I just want to elaborate a little bit before I talk about the actual application part. Here, when we talk about wisdom, please know that there are three levels of wisdom or understanding in our Buddhism. First is Sutta Panya, the understanding by listening. Second, Cintamaya Panya, the understanding by reflection and thinking and pondering over the Dhamma. Then the third understanding is Bhavanamaya Panya, the understanding by direct insight, direct penetration into the reality, into the truth. So there are three levels of understanding. So when we say, before we practice virtue, if we need to have some kind of understanding, right view, right thought, very often it refers to Sutta Panya, If a little bit more, it refers to Cintamaya Panya. Means the understanding by listening or understanding by contemplation only. If without virtue and concentration as foundation, there's no way one can straight away proceed to Bhavanamaya Panya, the understanding by direct penetration of truth, direct insight. There's no way. So when we talk about the initial understanding, yes, it's true. You need to have some understanding why we keep 5 precepts, why we take 3 refuges, what are the benefits, and how to practice virtue. These are some understanding you need to have. Then only later, then you need to contemplate how to apply in your life. Then some Cintamaya Panya are involved. It's involved. Okay, how to apply this in real life. Then you can observe properly virtues. And then you can learn how to practice concentration. Without understanding, you don't even know the method to practice concentration. So in that sense, it is true. The understanding comes first. Then you practice virtue, concentration, and then on top of that concentration, you reach higher wisdom. That is Bhavanamaya Panya. The wisdom which relies heavily on virtue, on the foundation, the support of virtue and concentration, is very much Bhavanamaya Panya. Of course, you can say, yeah, with concentration, I can think better, I can contemplate better, which is also, it also helps that. But very much it refers to Bhavanamaya Panya, because it is a concentration that produces the mind, that enhance the power of the mind, that enable the mind to observe the reality and penetrate reality. The reality of what? Of Four Noble Truth. The reality of what? The reality of Paramattha Dhamma. The consciousness, mental states, materiality, and Nibbana. So this kind of wisdom which penetrates ultimate reality can only be achieved if one has good foundation in virtue and concentration. So in this sense, there's no confusion, there's no conflict. When we use the wisdom come first, it's also true. When we say the virtue come first, it is also true. Depends what level of wisdom we are referring to. Okay? So this is what the Buddha meant by middle way. In this, let's see Samma Vayamo, right effort. Sometimes the Buddha advises to strive very hard, wholeheartedly. So it doesn't mean lukewarm effort. It doesn't mean that. So majjhimā paṭipadā, let's understand it correctly. It means balance, middle way, the balanced way, not half effort, lukewarm way. No, not in that. Try not to understand that. Then the Buddha proceeded to elaborate. The Buddha said this. This is the middle way, self-awakened to by the Tathagata. Tathagata refers to the Buddha himself. The Buddha always refers to himself by saying Tathagata, which gives rise to vision and knowledge and leads to peace, supernormal knowledge, self-awakening and Nibbana. Okay? Then the Buddha straightaway proceed to expound on Four Noble Truths. The Noble Truth of suffering, Noble Truth of arising of suffering. Sometimes they translate as origin of suffering, which is the arising because of what caused the arising of suffering in that sense, which actually is the origin. So it's also the correct. So here it refers to craving, craving of sensuality for existence and for non-existence. Craving for existence very often is attached to the idea of permanence and Craving for non-existence, attachment to the wrong view of that nihilism, everything finished after death. So that's why people want to kill themselves. They think after this, if I kill myself, I don't want to live again so that I don't suffer. And they suffer. Still, this craving for this idea, the wrong view, will produce rebirth. So, don't believe that by killing ourselves, we can end the cycle of birth and death. Not that easy. It is through wisdom and understanding that we achieve such a liberation from the rounds of birth and death, and not by killing ourselves. Because you still have the vibhava tanha. Okay? And then the Buddhas declare about the noble truth of cessation of suffering, which is our goal, an ideal, our goal. Instead of talking about Nibbana, the high level of the ultimate reality, which is not unconditioned and not arising or not passing away, the Buddha present it in a way which is more understandable to us. Which actually, it means when you have this, you realize Nibbana also. The remainderless dispassion from and cessation, giving up, relinquishing, release, disregard of the craving. So when the cause of suffering vanish, actually it's a realization of Nibbana. Okay? But it is easy to understand the cause of suffering vanish. But it's not easy for people to understand what they have never perceived before, which is Nibbana. So it is easy to explain it in a way that Nibbana is the absence of craving, is the absence of suffering. It's easy to present that way. Because we understand suffering, we understand craving. But to say what Nibbana is, the Buddha, you notice that the Buddha didn't try to explain that too much. Just briefly say it's a happiness, it is not changing, like that. Just like if you want to try to explain what is light to the blind man, born blind. It's very difficult unless the blind man dream of light sometime in the dream. Yeah, okay, fine. Otherwise, it's difficult for a blind man to imagine what light is. So you want to explain light is, you say, oh, when you have light, you will not knock the wall without, you will walk into the wall and knock your head. You will not make this kind of mistake because you can see things like that. So a lot of suffering associated of non-seeing will disappear because of seeing light. That one is easier to understand. But to explain light is so difficult for someone who have never seen light. So similarly, it is to explain Nibbana is so difficult for one who have not seen Nibbana. So the Buddha always present it in a negative way, saying that Nibbana is no suffering, is no causes of suffering, no craving, in this way. Okay? Then the more important thing is the fourth, the noble truth of the way leading to the cessation of suffering. That leads to the cessation of suffering, which is the Noble Eightfold Path, which is a training, virtue, concentration, and wisdom. So, can you see some clue, some important value in this Four Noble Truths? It looks simple, but it is very, very beautiful methodology if you look at it this way. First, it tells you about the problem, life's problem, which is suffering. Then it tells you what caused it, what leads on to this suffering, what produces suffering, what caused the arising of suffering, the origin of suffering. So it's cause and effect there, right? Talk about the reality, the phenomena, then talk about how it comes about. Okay, which is the cause. So it's a cause and effect. Then the Buddha didn't stop there. The Buddha didn't stop at just telling you life, suffering, suffering. No. There's no point talking about suffering when we have no solution. The Buddha waited so long for his own enlightenment in order to expound about it on this suffering. So, if someone ever come to try to accuse the Buddha, accuse the Buddhists for being pessimistic, please don't. We tell them, no, not like that. The Buddha told about suffering, the Buddha told about a solution, the way out of suffering. So that is brave, that is courageous, that is practical. That is definitely not pessimistic. If you have a solution, you have a way out, and it is very brave to look at the problem head on, face to face. Okay? So now, the Buddha didn't stop here. The Buddha moved on. Let's see. The Buddha approached this Four Noble Truths in a more profound way. Okay? I because of the time, I don't recite the Pali. Traditionally, we always recite the Pali before we talk about the suttas. But I will let you read. I just go into the English part. Monks in regards to conditions unheard of before. The vision arose, knowing arose, wisdom arose, knowledge arose, light arose in me. This is the noble truth of suffering. Then in the same way, the understanding, the wisdom arose that this noble truth of suffering should be fully understood. Now, you know why you should regard it in this way. How you should regard the suffering of the noble truth of suffering. It should be understood. Why? Because of not understanding it, we don't find a way out. The way to overcome suffering is to understand it. Yeah, that's very important. It should be fully understood. For a purpose, for good. Okay? And then the last, that this noble truth of suffering has been fully understood. We contemplate a short while. These three approach. What is this? How I should regard it? And it has been achieved. Later we will come back to this. These three approach is very significant. Very, very significant. Okay? Okay, let's look at the next one. Next noble truth. We will come back. Then this is the noble truth of the arising of suffering, which we can also translate as origin of suffering. Because of this arise, this suffering arise. So in that sense, because of this arise, this arise. So sometimes we present it, cause and effect in this way. Because this arise, this arise. So this suffering arise, this is the arising of suffering. So it's the origin of suffering in this way. And how we should regard it? It is to be relinquished. It is to be overcome. Relinquish, some people translate as extinguish. Okay. It needs to be eliminated. Why? Yeah, because only by extinguishing the cause of suffering, the arising of suffering, that suffering ceases. Okay? That's why it should be, it is to be relinquished. And then it has been relinquished. Then look at this. This noble truth of is the cessation of suffering. Okay, the goal has been achieved. This is the goal. You see, all beings have shared a same nature. The aversion, the refuse to experience suffering. Tell me, which being like suffering? No, even the sadists who torture themselves because of the distortion in the mind. In fact, deep down, they also cannot take too much suffering. But sometimes because of bad karma, certain distortion in the mind, then we have people call this very strange kind of psychology called sadists. They want to torture themselves. But still, it is common trait, common inherent nature, intrinsic nature in all beings that they look for happiness and run away from suffering. So this is the thing. So, knowing that all beings share this nature, so cessation of suffering is something that is cherished, is hoped for, is appreciated, it's something that all beings would like to go after it. Cessation of suffering. It's just they don't know how to do it. But it is something that all beings would like to get out of suffering. Get out of suffering. Okay? And then it is to be realized. It should be realized. And then it has been realized. So you see, suffering is something that to be fully understood or penetrated. Cause of suffering is to be relinquished or extinguished and overcome. And the cessation of suffering is to be realized, to be achieved. But realize the best. Achieve is something that people may think about creating it, making it up. But realize is something that it is best word. It shows it is there. Your job is to discover it, to realize it by the enlightenment. So this is the best translation is still this word, realize. Sachikatabanti. And then it has been realized. Then the last one. This is the way leading to the cessation of suffering. And it is to be developed, and it has been developed. So we have 4 attitudes, 4 ways to regard 4 noble truths. One is to be understood fully, to be penetrated, to be understood fully. One is to be extinguished, to be relinquished, to be let go, because we don't want this. Because it causes suffering, so we don't want this. Then that is the goal that we want. It is something good to aspire for. Good. It's a good destination. And then the last, there's a way, the training to achieve it. So this actually result, cause, result, and a cause. But nobody say we cause Nibbana. But because of making this effort, you realize Nibbana. So in that sense, it is cause and effect. But you cannot say Nibbana is produced by something. No, you don't say like that. Just like when we say, I reach the other shore. I don't say that the other shore is caused by my boat, caused by my raft, caused by my swimming. No, we don't say that. But because of our effort in swimming, our effort in taking the boat, then we reach the other shore. So in that sense, please know the difference. It is not conditioned, not created, but it is not without effort to achieve that. It is not without method to achieve it. Okay? So in that sense, it is like cause and effect. Okay? But not in the sense, it is not an element of it. It is not an ingredient of Nibbana. No. So, not in that kind of cause and effect. So now, let's look at the next thing what the Buddha declared. These very, very brave words, very, very powerful words of the Buddha. This is the very important things given in the Dhammacakkappavattanasuttaṁ. Now we have come to the most important. I want to recite the Pali for you. Yava kivancha me bhikkhave imesu chatusu arya sachesu evang di parivartang dvadasakarang yathā-bhūtaṁ ñāṇa-dassanaṁ. Na sui sudang ahosi newa tawang vikawe sadewa ke loke samarake sabramake sasamana brahmaniya pajaya sadewa manusaya anutarang samasambodhi abhisambuddhoti pachanyasi. While monks, my knowledge and vision according to the reality of these Four Noble Truths in their 3 modes and 12 aspects. Thus, when my knowledge and vision of this Four Noble Truths was not well purified, I did not concede monks to ascetics and Brahmins and mankind with its kings and men in the world with its deities, all the powerful beings, Maras and Brahmas, that I had self-awakened to the supreme perfect self-awakening. You see, if the knowledge and vision according to reality, yathā-bhūtaṁ ñāṇa-dassanaṁ, it means seeing things as they really are with wisdom. Sometimes I would prefer to use this word. Yathā-bhūtaṁ. Yathā-bhūtaṁ means as it is, as they are. Ñāna is the wisdom, the insight. Dassanaṁ, see. Dassana, seeing. So seeing with insight as they really are. You see, the Buddha cares a lot. This verse you can memorize. And the Buddha presents in different ways in the suttas, but means all the same thing. Always the Buddha comes back to this idea again and again. Seeing things as they really are with insight, with wisdom, with bhavanamaya panya. If the Buddha didn't see it as they really are with insight, with wisdom, these Four Noble Truths in all foremost and 12 aspects, the Buddha would not declare himself to be self-enlightened. But now let's see the next one. Yato cha ko me bhikkhave imesu chatusu arya sachesu ewang di parivatang dwadasa karang yathā-bhūtaṁ ñāṇa-dassanaṁ suvisudang ahosi atahang bhikkhave sadewa ke loke samarake sabramake sasamana brahmaniya pajaya sadewa manusaya anutarang samasambodhi abhisambuddhoti pachanyasi. But when monks, my knowledge and vision according to the reality of these Four Noble Truths in their 3 modes and 12 aspects. 3 modes means this is the truth, how I should regard it, and it has been regarded as such. Okay. So, my knowledge and vision according to the reality of these Four Noble Truths, 3 modes and 12 aspects was well purified. Not only you must see things as they really are. See this with a very pure, very clear, very thorough way. I did concede monks to ascetic and Brahmins and mankind with kings and men, all the powerful beings. When the Buddha expressed in this way, it means the Buddha was not declaring it in front of unwise people or weak people or weak beings. No. The Buddha dared with full confidence among the greatest being, powerful beings in the world, and declare, this is self-enlightened. Now he has achieved perfect self-awakening. Okay? See this idea. This idea is very, very important. And we can use this idea, yathā-bhūtaṁ ñāṇa-dassanaṁ, in various levels in our life. Of course, the highest level of usage, of application, is the level we use for final liberation from the rounds of birth and death. Of course, this is the best. But similar principle, Dhamma, can be applied in whether you do business, you're managing a family, you're counseling your client, you're helping, you're solving any kind of national, international issues or problems. If only people know how to apply this methodology, I call it methodology. It's a formula. Formula of 2 sets of cause and effect. The cause and effect of problems and cause and effect of the ideal we want to achieve, the goal, the purpose, the aim, that we want to achieve. Actually, the world, all phenomena in the world that we see, that is conditioned, happen, manifest, based on the principle of cause and effect. Otherwise, there will be no method in the world. When we talk about method, what is method? Method means, when you have a method means, when you do this, like this, like this, like this, you achieve this. This result will be produced. So what does it mean? It means cause and effect. So when the Buddha presents this method to us, it solves the fundamental problems of human life, of all beings, which is the suffering in the rounds of birth and death. He solves it with this formula. Look at the problems, look at the cause of the problem, and know what is achievable, the goal, achievable goal that can be materialized. Then the way leading to it, which is the causes of it. So, and in order to see this, you need to see it with wisdom. Without wisdom, you cannot see. And you need to see it with wisdom without imagination at all. You don't imagine it. Yathā-bhūtaṁ means as they really are. You don't create it, you discover it. It means this. Yathā-bhūtaṁ ñāṇa-dassanaṁ. As they really are. Not fake it. You don't fake any truth. You discover truth. We never say we fake a truth, we create a truth. No. We discover what is there. Even for the Buddha, it's the same. He discover what is there. And share those knowledge of that discovery to us. Yathā-bhūtaṁ ñāṇa-dassanaṁ. Please memorize this. Okay, let's recite together. Same, let's recite. Or Bhante recite once, you follow me. Yathā-bhūtaṁ ñāṇa-dassanaṁ. Again. Yathā-bhūtaṁ ñāṇa-dassanaṁ. Yathā-bhūtaṁ ñāṇa-dassanaṁ. Okay, keep this to memory. This is so useful in our life. So useful. If you want to solve any problem, tell yourself, do I see this clearly as they really are, or I imagine the problem, or I actually understand the problem? Sometimes when we imagine a non-existing problem, then how to solve it if you imagine it? If you imagine the causes, also you cannot solve it. Because you don't see the real cause. For example, some people, they feel hurt. They think the cause is caused by outside. In fact, it's not true. The cause is inside the mind itself, the ego. So if you don't see the real cause, then you try to eliminate all the enemy, kill all the enemies. But the cause is the bad karma that we have, the wrong view that we have. If you don't solve it, try. See how many enemies you want to kill. You don't solve the problem. You keep killing one after another. After killing all the enemies, you still suffer. Because they see the wrong cause. So we need to see the cause as they really are. So we see the suffering, we see the causes. Of course, you need to know what you want, what is achievable. Don't look for a wrong goal. You know? I remember I knew some very good mother. Or pray to the devas, please bless my child so that my child can pass exam very well. You can pray. Yeah, sometimes you can pray for the child to have good performance, maybe balance, feel good, can perform. Yes, that's okay. But if the child hasn't studied enough, do you think all the blessing of the devas can help? No. If he has no knowledge in his mind, how to help? No? If the devas can help, maybe give some metta, make you feel good, try to be free from anxiety when you go for the exam. Yeah, maybe some kind of influence possible. But to say that, to impart that knowledge into the mind of the child, which the child hasn't picked up by study, there's no way. No way you can. So we need to know what is achievable, what is not achievable, what is the goal. Just like you don't eat the food to make your son feel full, right? Because, everyone has to take your own food. Just like we need to study ourselves. So if you look for the goal is right, you see as possible, then only it is possible to achieve. If you look for the wrong goal, you cannot achieve. Yeah. So then the method leading to it. So very systematic. So this is what I call the very precious teaching in this Dhammacakkappavattanasuttaṁ. In the first sutta already the Buddha showed us so much, so many aspects of the Dhamma. So valuable. The middle way, majjhimā paṭipadā. Then the Four Noble Truths, the two sets of cause and effect. Yeah. Not in the strict sense of this cause is the ingredient of it, no. Because you do this, you achieve this. So in that sense, I call it cause and effect. Not in the sense of karma vipaka. Please don't get it wrong. So, and then approach every aspect. The problem, the causes of the problem, the goal, the causes, the method to achieve the goal. Approach each with these three levels of attitude. First, I want to know what is this. Then I want to know how I should regard it. Whether it should be understood, it should be relinquished, it should be realized, or it should be cultivated. So you regard it in the correct way. Then after that, the Buddha only declared his enlightenment after he realized it. This is very important. That's why sometimes the Buddha advises, please help yourself first. Not in the sense that the Buddha is trying to make us selfish, no. But because you would not have the strong footing, to do the helping, to counsel others, to guide others out of suffering, if you yourself are not strong, if you have not benefit from the Dhamma itself. That is why in our Dhamma leadership, in our organization, in Dhamma Earth, we care a lot that all our Dhamma propagator, our Dhamma servers, our monks and nuns who preach, please be a beneficiary of the teaching of the Buddha. And people who want to propagate and spread the teaching and in the missionary work in Dhamma Earth, we want you to be the beneficiary first. Why? We are applying this similar, copy the Buddha's way. The Buddha makes sure before he declared his enlightenment, before he really walk out to help others, he makes sure he realized he knows his stuff. He knew his stuff. So much responsibility he took upon himself to help others. That is a sense of responsibility. That is no selfishness. You make sure you are strong first, so that you don't ruin yourself and ruin others and mislead others. So, these three modes, what is the truth, how to regard it, and make sure you do it first. So, these three, he realized it with the method of seeing things as they really are with wisdom. Okay? So remember, you can show to me any of your problem. I will teach you how you apply this methodology in your context. If you like, you can ask question later. Okay? So then because of that, this realize the knowledge and vision arose in me. Unshakable is my deliverance of mind. This is my last birth. There is no repeated existence now. Okay? And when this explanation was being spoken, the dust-free, stainless vision of the Dhamma arose in the Venerable Kondanya, the first to achieve to become the first disciple to become Sotapan. When you see this kind of text, this kind of expression in the Buddhist text, it means the person has achieved Sotapan. Whatever has the nature to arise, all that has the nature to cease. It is not so simple. Huh? This is an insight. When the wheel of Dhamma was set in motion by the Blessed One, why has the wheel of Dhamma has been set in motion? Because someone has realized the truth. The first disciple has realized. Then the earthbound deity proclaimed in the deer park at Isipatana, Varanasi, the Blessed One has set in motion the supreme wheel of Dhamma, which is not stoppable by either ascetic Brahmin, deity, Mara, Brahma, and anyone else in the world. How can it be stoppable? It cannot. Once the person becomes Sotapan, has attained the insight, the Magga Ñāṇa, the path knowledge, this thing cannot be undone. You cannot be a saint, a Arya, and then become a Putujana again. Not possible. This is irreversible achievement. So because someone other than the Buddha has achieved this irreversible achievement, so the wheel of Dhamma has been set in motion and cannot be reversed anymore. It's very wonderful because the achievement is irreversible. Okay? Then later you can look at these suttas. It goes on. The proclamation goes on to higher Deva and higher Deva. To Chatu Maharajika Deva. Then, it's not easy to control. And then to Tawatingsa Deva, Yama Deva, Tusita Deva, Imanarati Deva, and Paranimita Vaswati Deva. Paranimita Vaswati Deva. And then up to the Brahma. Okay? So it's very wonderful. Huh? The joy of all these devas, they get happy because seeing that for a long time, when there was no Buddha, this is not possible. But when the Buddha attained enlightenment and set the motion of Dhamma Wheel moving in motion, then beings have a hope of achieving liberation. Then at that moment, at that instant, at that second, proclamation went up as far as the Brahma world. Thus, these 10,000 world systems shook, quaked, and trembled. Of course, in a good way, in a good way. And a measureless spectacular light appeared in the world, which surpassed the divine power of the deities. Then the Blessed One inspired utterance. Dear Kondanya indeed knows. Anyasi watabo Kondanya, Anyasi watabo Kondanyo. Kondanya indeed knows. That's how Anyasi Kondanya. Okay. Look at this. Then Venerable Anyasi Kondanya having seen the Dhamma, attained the Dhamma, known the Dhamma, penetrate the Dhamma, having crossed over doubt, having put away uncertainty, having attained full confidence, and no longer depending on others in the teacher's dispensation. I think it is most beautiful. Goes beyond doubt. Direct seeing. Then you no longer have question in the mind about what is the right way. No longer depending on others in the teacher's dispensation. Once a person becomes Arya, a Sotapan, within 7 existence, can be 1 existence, 2 existence, the maximum 7 existence, you will definitely be attain arhanship and final liberation. Okay, then he asked for ordination. Then the Buddha said, Ehi bhikkhu, come bhikkhu. So when the Buddha declared that, he appeared, all the appearance of the bhikkhu. Okay, no need to look for robes. Ehi bhikkhu. These are the people who have offered robes in the past. Then when you meet the Buddha, it's possible to become Ehi bhikkhu. No need to look for robes and bowl. All these requisites is fulfilled. Okay. So now, do you know how to apply this knowledge, this methodology? The methodology of middle way, don't fall into extreme. The methodology of 2 sets of cause and effect. Cause and effect of problem and cause and effect of ideal or goal. And then how to regard everything with the right attitude towards it. And then with the powerful method of seeing things as they really are with wisdom. And for this kind of ñāṇa, yathā-bhūtaṁ, ñāṇa-dassanaṁ, seeing things as they really are with wisdom, for such an insight, you really need concentration. You really need concentration cultivation. And of course, for concentration achievement, must be supported by good virtues. Okay? So try to apply this in your real life. When you encounter any problems, whether it's a family problem, business problem, your career or whatever, ask. If you are in the blue, you have no idea what to do, you don't know how to get out, ask yourself, what are the things that I have not seen clearly that make me blur, in doubt, hesitant to move on? What are the things that we have not seen clearly? Is it a problem? Do I understand the problem correctly? Do I understand the cause of the problem? Do I know what I want to achieve? Some people, they are struggling, they don't even know what they want to achieve. They don't even know what is possible. And how? Heading to nowhere. Just many people struggle along with other people only. Flow with the tide only. Without having the clear sense of direction. Where should I be heading to? What is achievable for me? Then, only when you know your goal clearly can you work towards it. So this is important. So whether you want to help someone, yes. This is especially if you're in helper, people who play the role of helper in life, like counselor. You want to understand the person you counsel? Yeah, you listen patiently. Try to understand his or her problem. And try to analyze and try to understand what is the cause of the problem. And try to understand what he or she wants. Sometimes people come to us, they just want to express themselves. They don't even want a solution. They just want to express themselves. So then we know. Sometimes we need to let them talk and express themselves so much until they come to their senses, they feel fully satisfied. Then they ask for advice. Then is the right time you advise. So things like that. So this methodology helps us to see things clearly. help us to see the issues clearly, problems clearly. Then we can solve the problem. And we can transform our life in a meaningful way, in a workable way. Okay? So, this application. Okay, so much for today. If you have any question, please ask. 没有中文的 No, this is English talk. 这是英文讲座。这一类的讲座讲了很多在中文的。I talk about this kind of talk a lot in Chinese. You can always refer to my Chinese talks, the series. So you can always refer. Because if I want to do bilingual, it takes a long time. 如果用双语用很长时间。因为这一类的内容已经在中文讲了很多很多的。所以我就讲英文了哈。Okay. Any question? If no, you can put out some practical question, some practical things that maybe I will show you how to apply. Otherwise, I just leave it to your own imagination. Okay, for example, you want to just, okay, I give you, if you don't give me a question, I give you a question. Now when you meditate, okay, you have, and your meditation is stuck, you know, you feel as if you are not progressing anywhere after 1 year, 2 years. Let's say, some people feel so. So do you know what is it? Yeah, you know your problem. The problem is you think you are not progressing, you know? You think you're not progressing. But is it a real problem? Or maybe you don't understand your problem correctly also. You know, some people, they think they're not progressing because they think only jhana is progress. Only seeing past life, this is progress. Without knowing that when you move along the 7 purification, every step of the way you are making progress. If you don't recognize this progress, you get disheartened very easily. So, you don't understand your problem. Actually, you might have changed in your character. You might have become more patient. And you, for example, in the past, you may get angry, with someone easily. The anger lasts for half an hour. Now, if you come to your senses much faster and recover from it in 5 minutes, that is progress. If you don't recognize your progress, then, you're craving for something, which is, you want to find the result only. And then, of course, you suffer. You get disheartened very easily. You see? So, you don't understand your problem. Sometimes the problem is wrongly defined. Okay? But let's say you really get the problem correct. Okay. I am not making progress. Really, you meditate is all same level of confusion or even more confused than when you started. Then you can check. Am I making a right effort? If you do, it is not possible to have a single day of right effort without progress, not possible. Every day is progress. It may not be obvious to your mind. Then, but 1 month is obvious. 3 months is obvious, definitely. Unless you're not making a right effort. Some people, they progress, but they don't know how to define progress. Then that is the problem. Okay? They don't see their own progress. They walk out of the stairs all the way. But before they reach the top, they say, I'm not progressing. All my effort is useless. No. You have gone halfway. You need to see that as a progress. You need to see your transformation of character is a progress. Okay? So, some they don't see the cause correctly. Am I making a right effort? For example, sometimes if people meditate with a competitive mind, I want to beat my friend, I want to work faster than my friend, I want to meditate longer hours. But the person may meditate with right effort. 2 hours with good concentration, good mindfulness. You want to beat the person with quick craving. 3 hours. I see 3 hours. How can the person say 2 hours practice achieve jhana? I say 3 hours, I'm not achieving jhana. You are looking at the wrong cause. Right? You don't know what's the right effort. We have a lot of craving, competitive mind, egoistic mind, all corrupted, all the wrong causes, all the impurities. You are putting all the wrong, impure inputs. How to get a pure output? So this is a cause and effect wrong. This is also another thing. So make sure you get it right. You must see things as they really are. See your problem as they really are with wisdom. See the causes of the problem as they really are with wisdom. And you need to know your goal. If your goal is this and this and this, sometimes if your goal is purity, surely every day of right effort, your mind is purified. For example, now you pay attention to your breath. Even for a second, you pay attention to the breath. While you full-heartedly pay attention to your breath, the suffering, the impurities that hasn't arisen, has it arisen? Has it arisen? No. What the impurities, the akusala, unwholesome state, which hasn't arisen, doesn't arise. And the impurities that has arisen, for example, you get angry with someone, then you really focus on the breath. No, you no longer get angry. Why? The angry mind and the mindful mind doesn't exist in the same thought process. So if you're mindful on this, no, the impurity doesn't arise. That is the thing. Then the thirdly, if you pay attention properly on the breath, before that you have no mindfulness, you have no focus. Your mind run here and there. Now, one single moment you pay attention to your breath, for that single moment, if you apply it correctly, you have a 1 moment peace. That moment you are free from all the mental worked up, all the confusion. No. Can focus. And if you focus moment to moment for 5 minutes, the repetition condition arise, show its effect. Then you find that your mindfulness get more powerful, concentration get more powerful. And if you last there for 1 hour, sure your nimitta arise. Sure. Then you see purity, bright light appear. Sure. So if you work according to, you look at it from the point of causes, then you can see every right effort is a progress by itself. So you need to see things as they really are. The problem, the cause of problem, you need to your goal, and you need to make the right effort. Then if you have these things, sure, you have progress. Then your all the unhappy feelings, thinking that you're not progressing, can be overcome quickly, because you now see your practice correctly as they really are with wisdom. Okay? So that's just one example how any problem you can approach with this formula. Okay? Now you can go further, how I should regard it and how I achieve it. And if you have achieved it, then you have the confidence to share with others. Okay? Let me see. There's a few questions. How to regard everything? It should be realized or cultivated, relinquished. What does this mean? How to apply? Oh, already just I gave you the example of practice. 灭法如何理解？比如夫妻关系非常一直到死，这里的灭是指死亡结束了他们的恩爱吗？Okay, this Chinese question. It says that when we say the end, when the husband and wife relationship very good, when they come to the death, then the death ends. No, it doesn't mean like that. First, what is your goal? You need to know, the husband and wife, what is the goal? If the goal is they want to be husband and wife forever, No, their life is also not forever. Their life is also not permanent. How can their relationship be permanent? So it should not be that goal. You know, husband and wife, there's no ultimate goal which you can achieve happily. No, there's no. But of course, if you want to have something not ultimate, it just maybe more frequently they meet each other in the samsara as husband and wife. The Buddha did say in the suttas describing the relationship between Nakula Pitta and Nakula Mata, who became the father and mother of the Buddha for many, many lives in the past. And the Buddha relates to their husband and wife relationship as because they share similar virtues, similar faith, similar level of good work and whatever. So because of that, easy for them to come together, and because they love each other like that only. But the Buddha didn't say this is a goal to be aspired for. The Buddha just said a phenomena only. The Buddha didn't say. So 就是说呢，这个夫妻关系哈，不是说，如果你要知道你的目标，你要的问的目标是目标，那个灭这里指的就是，比如说你不要那个苦，你不要吵架，你要的是恩爱快乐啊，这样也是一个短暂的一个目标。那你要知道你要这个，你要知道你的目标是什么，定是你自己定的。但是没有所谓的夫妻恩爱，佛陀讲有一个永恒的一个究竟的一个快乐的目标没有？夫妻关系，佛陀没讲，佛陀只讲涅槃。你再怎么恩爱，你自己的生命都是无常的，怎么会有一个恒常、永远可靠的东西？没有。但是佛陀曾经说过了，有些人像那个那古拉比达、那古拉玛达，他们比较常很多事在一起做夫妻，因为他们很恩爱，然后因为他们有共同的美德、智慧、信仰等等的这样子的意思。所以你要清楚，你的灭是这里灭是指苦的熄灭，概念上。那如果要讲真正究竟的，只有一个灭而已，就烦恼的熄灭跟涅槃而已。我们只是讲，如果你从世间的角度来讲，比较粗浅的东西，是这样。这看你的目标，短暂的目标，它不是究竟的。如果你有短暂的目标，它也有它的因的。比如说夫妻要恩爱，就不要就少一点私心咯，多一点互相了解咯，这样。So if you talk about not the ultimate goal, talk about the superficial good. For example, you would like to have the husband and wife less quarrel, more harmonious family relationship. Okay, then just try to be less egoistic to each other and more caring for each other's needs and wishes. Then definitely the superficial good things that you want to achieve also possible to achieve, but it's not ultimate good. Okay. Okay. How to define the problem correctly? How to know that I already make the progress by every start of meditation? Just already explained. Then if you look at the causes, for example, just looking at the breath, you focus, if you really focus peacefully, correctly, then every moment of focusing, you find you have peace of mind, you are free from the nivarana, the 5 hindrances. So you can see, try to see this moment-to-moment progress. If you cherish this, you appreciate it, and then you will magnify, you will strengthen it by your appreciation, by your rejoicing in your own achievements, small, minor achievement. Then in this way, you can enlarge your total benefit. As a beginner, yeah, same. You look at the causes, look at how you make the right effort, and you appreciate every time you make a right effort, you see this benefit of falling into wrong causes, falling into hindrances. Yeah, like anger, frustration, restlessness, sensual greed, whatever. Some people even would appreciate that. Okay, now I count 1 to 8. Okay, 1 to 8. I run. Count to 5 already, I run away. So you make it achievement. Oh, now I can count to 7. I can count to 8. Unbroken. Now that's progress. In this way, you can see that progress. Huh? I can focus for 5 minutes. Now I can focus for more. How to know our goals clearly? How to know if our goals lead to the way we want to head for? Sometimes you can have a general goal first. The goals lead to the way we want to head for. That means you have a final goal and a small goal. Right? Because the goals leading to the way, that means the way is a higher goal, and then the goals you use is a smaller goal. Okay? Then, yeah, sometimes before you prove it yourself, some kind of faith is there. Some kind of logical thinking using Cintamaya Panya is there. But that's not the real understanding. But by reflecting, now I want to see ultimate reality. I want to see past life, future life, and the cause and effect in past and future, past and future. So it is very hard. It's very difficult. Then it requires strength of mind. And that strength of mind includes mindfulness and concentration. So you may have some kind of understanding that I need to cultivate concentration. And concentration, for example, first jhana, you have vitaka, vichara, piti, sukha, ekagata. Okay, you have these 5 jhana factors. Okay, initial application, sustained application, rapture, and happy feelings, and one-pointedness. So if you know this, then you know the method. Surely, if I don't feel happy, I get angry. Angry is no happy feeling. So there's no way to achieve jhana. So I need to overcome, change my character, less anger prone. Then, in this way, you can, this small goal of overcoming anger will lead on to my bigger goal of achieving jhana. And achieving jhana will lead on to my bigger goal, having more mind power to penetrate reality. But do you prove it yet? No. By faith and by contemplation, you see it's logical. It makes sense. But you want to see 100% you are so sure, you verify it with your direct experience. Okay? Otherwise, before that, some kind of confidence in your guide. For example, the guy say, okay, go up. This way you reach you to the mountain summit. How do you know? How so sure you are? It may lead to the tiger den. You never know. But you're moving higher and higher. So you're not going lower and lower. So it makes sense. Like that. So you cannot know you want to know exactly, you have to verify by that experience, otherwise some kind of faith and contemplative logical thinking. Yes, is there. Thank you for the example of feeling despair. Okay, I had this problem. After hearing Bhante talk, I felt happy that I progressed in metta towards sensual being today. I think this is sila purification, right? But to realize Nibbana, I have to get samadhi and vipassana. Samadhi and panya. So I can't be satisfied just because of sila purification. That's very good. Okay, so I think I've answered all the questions online. Any question on here? Agitation in the mind. Yeah, also applying. Yes, correct. And you know the problems, and you know what you want to achieve. You just want to reduce the painful feeling, the sensation that causes you destruction. Okay? So you apply one way, and one way doesn't work, you apply another way. Yeah, it's correct. It's correct. Okay? Metta can help. Yeah, metta, if it's metta jhana, you should have 5 jhana factors, sure. Yeah. Jhana can, metta can achieve jhana, can achieve up to third jhana. Okay, yeah? Actually, the asankhya counts the period of achieving the Buddhahood. They usually come from the time of prophecy. They usually come from the time of prophecy. Yeah, there's even much longer than that.
Yeah, so I heard that there is there's a time frame for it, like the time when.
I think this is, some people say, I don't see how conclusive this kind of idea. Yeah, sometimes can be very long. Usually the text we see, they talk about the Bodhisattva path, how long achieve Buddhahood. Usually the actual counting is from the prophecy. But before prophecy actually is long time. You cannot imagine. I don't hear any conclusive evidence about this. I don't know. If you have, please show me. I don't know.
I'm not sure. Then
I don't know.
Once someone aspires to become a Bodhisattva, right? Does he remember his aspiration life after life?
No, not always. They sometimes forget. That's why sometimes Bodhisattva create back karma also. Maybe they forget.
Even after receiving prophecy, he also can forget?
Yeah, possible. Yeah. Sometimes for a while. But usually they always easy to remember. But sometimes, otherwise, if the Bodhisattva remember, he will not end up as a thief. He will not break precepts. Sometimes he broke precept also. You see, there is a lapse. Sometimes there's a moment of it's possible. But usually such occasion are less, not so much, but it can happen. Some indulgent in sensual pleasures also. Yeah. That's why that's very risky. That's very risky. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So you want to be Bodhisattva? Okay, we wish you whatever lah. It's in the Theravada world, we just preach as we know, and we let people choose their own destination and their goal. Okay, so in this case, we end here our talk. Okay, let's make aspiration and share merit. Idang me punyang asawa kaya wahang hotu. Idang me punyang nibbana sapacayo hotu. Mama punya bagang sabba sattanang majjhimī. Te sabbe me samang punya bagang labantu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.